Hey, seventh grade. Happy Tuesday to you guys. Here, just finishing this on Monday afternoon. I got to figure out how to get my mouth and my words synced up a little bit. That probably drives you guys crazy. Couple of announcements, things going on, reminders. Wanted to tell you guys thanks for Thursday. We tried a new ISAT schedule, and I thought it went for the most part pretty smoothly. Thank you for trying your best on that ELA practice test. And we have a few more times we have to do that this year for math or English or for, I guess, just the eighth grader science. So hopefully the schedule was okay, but I just appreciate you guys rolling with that and doing your best on the test. Two, just a social skill review. Okay, these pod lessons are supposed to be about helping you guys in terms of just the way that you interact with others, the way that you try to achieve success for yourself. We care about your academic skills, but also your social skills. So I thought I'd remind you about some communication tools. Okay, and we got to find a way to make some posters and put these sort of things in the school because we got to remember how to be assertive communicators. Okay, not passive in that people don't get to just walk all over you. Okay, and not aggressive like you go to just when you want to talk to somebody, go confront them like there's going to be a big fight. That doesn't help either. Okay, assertiveness, remember, is about this area right in here. Where you're, yes, being clear about what you want for sure, but also in a way that's kind to others and considering their viewpoint. All right. So lots of things that we deal with, Mrs. Bollinger and I, conflicts with students could maybe be solved with a bit more assertive communication. So just to review, I know we've talked about that before. Remember, we're in the middle of Unit 3. It's all about thoughts, emotions, and decisions, kind of that continuum. Okay, the thought that you have, the emotion, the decision. And we are going to talk about today, I think we're going to review real quick from last week. If you have something happen to you, like I know today we talk about failing a test. This situation was, I think, in a basketball game. It really looked like the other player had fouled him, but he got the foul call on him. And I think he argued a little bit. And then the coach took him out. Okay. So there was definite, when something like that happens and your strong emotions start, it's pretty common to have some not so helpful thoughts at that point. All right. So today's lesson, as we switch over to the second step stuff here. Whoa, I'm like right in the middle of it because I was reviewing it before. Go away thing. I think I just eliminated my face, but that's okay. We'll just keep going because my mouth isn't synced up anyways. I just hope you're still hearing me. Reframing, all right? How do we push pause and interrupt this flow of negativity that happens when things happen to us, all right? So scenario, you just got settled into class when you realize the pencil you put on your desk is now missing, or perhaps the Chromebook. What's one helpful and one unhelpful thought you could have about the situation? Think about it for a second. If we were in class, maybe we would shout those out. Unhelpful, I don't know, maybe assuming that someone stole it, that you're going to flunk your test now or whatever you're doing, you're not going to be able to do your assignment. Okay. And helpful, maybe ask the teacher for another one, or maybe you dropped it. Okay. So there's some options that you have there. So today we talk about the interruption of cycles. So right here, strong emotions when things happen to us are inevitable. It's almost biologically innate for us. It's a reaction. Some people's are a little bit stronger than others, and you can certainly train yourself to mute those a little bit. But the emotion itself is important. We should have that. But we don't always have to have unhelpful thoughts. Somewhere in there, we have a negative decision. Ooh, that rains on somebody's parade there, and then you get even more mad or even more scared or whatever the negative emotion is. So how do we stop that cycle somehow? Possible ideas, remember these. Calm down is just sort of, that's what we're hoping to do, stop and think and catch the unhelpful thoughts, say, hey, that's not what I should be thinking, and hope to change it. I guess in the end, we got to talk about how to calm down, but it gets into that a little bit here at the end of the lesson. Okay, how do we interrupt the cycle? Well, use an emotion management strategy, which we'll talk about a few of those, and then reframe. Oh, I love the little thing they have for reframing. So let's talk about strategies first, all right? You had something go down, you get a little upset. What could you do? Things that maybe your parents were trying to help you with when you were younger, okay? Slowing your breathing down, walking away, or maybe even doing something to count, okay? Yeah, I've done all these things. It's been a while since counting, but maybe you've done this before. Situation that you can walk away from on the playground or something, or in the hallway. Now, sometimes you may not feel like you can walk away. Hey, I can't just leave class, whatever it is. Slowing your breathing has this sort of natural biological way of calming you down. And then counting, perhaps even counting backwards. Those are strategies, managing emotion strategies. And what's interesting is some of these may seem a little juvenile or kiddie for you guys, right? I don't have to do that, but I bet you know some adults that use those. So I would just have those as a tool in your back pocket. Okay, you recognize, oh man, I'm getting a little angry. Maybe try one of those things. Okay. In addition to those strategies, you can eventually reframe. When you see something as just terrible, oh my gosh, how is this going to be okay? And you tend to see things a little bit negatively. Okay, you really can, and we know about framing in terms of paradigms. Remember the 7 habit stuff about paradigms and pairs of glasses? Well, why don't you change your frame and maybe you'll see something a little bit different. Okay, same scene, but if you reframe that thought, okay, your perception, your paradigm will change a little bit. So we review these at the end of the lesson, but I think these are 3 really good reframing questions. 1, am I assuming something bad will happen? 2, am I assuming the other person was being intentionally mean? Think about those the word used there, assuming, twice. Okay, there's a little saying about assuming that I can't repeat because it has a swear word, but it talks about how it is not good. Assuming is not good. Hey, and man, so many kids just they kind of jump to the worst case scenario. Hey, oh my gosh, this is going to happen. That's not just kids. Sometimes people's brains work that way. Or am I assuming the other person was being intentionally mean? I know people like this that they'll tell a story and I was there for what happened, and they'll tell it, and it's like, man, that's not what I heard. That's not what I heard or experienced. Because sometimes maybe you assume that, yeah, they didn't mean to be mean. It wasn't intentional. But some people just say they did it. I know they did. And I've dealt with kids that are adamant, 100% sure that the person meant it that way. But really, don't assume. You don't know. Okay. And then what can I learn from this situation? Always trying to learn. Okay. I think those are 3 really good reframing questions. So let's talk about a scenario here, right? We've got, is this the one that we can reframe? Not yet. A much lower grade on a science test. Miss Crosland just gave you a big old effaroo, okay, and you didn't do very well. See, told you, bad score there. And so, what are the negative thoughts you might be able to anticipate? I'll never be good at science. The test was at fault, or the teacher was at fault. Okay, all natural reactions for sure. As part of our activity, we can't quite write all this stuff down, but if you were in class, we would have you do something like this. What's the situation, the emotions you might have, unhelpful thoughts. Okay? An emotion is really you're sort of angry about the test. You feel like you wasted your time or that you're not very smart. And we just went through the unhelpful thoughts. Okay, I wonder what the helpful thoughts would be. But I love this. Okay, you could have brainstormed to get to this place, but it kind of does it for you. And this is pretty cool. Watch this, guys. These computers are pretty nifty, y'all. I think they're going to catch on. So we can reframe things, and those negative thoughts, I can get better at science, becomes wasn't great, always room for improvement. The test was totally confusing. Maybe I need a different way of studying. It's interesting how these all are reframed to your own circle of control. Okay? And then the teacher was just trying to see how much we knew. The fact that they gave a test doesn't mean that they were trying to. And I've graded a lot of things over the years. We want kids to do well. Okay, so I don't think it was unfair. They're not out to get you. They're just trying to find out what we know. Okay, so man, just pushing pause in that regard and coming back to those things is pretty powerful. So I told you we'd come back to these right here, these reframing questions. And it's hard to do all this in a moment, I know, but sometimes when you're like extended mad, you're just, oh, that's so and so. I really so mad at them. A friend did something to you. Are you assuming something bad will happen? Basically, what are you assuming? What do you know to be true rationally? Hey, you don't have to jump to the person's terrible motives or the terrible things that might happen. And then what I learned from this situation almost makes it back on you and reflecting on your own actions. All right. So in the end, we do not have to have that cycle forever. You can stop the flow of, oh man, I hope it's still recorded. Oh, it did. And I made a short one for once, y'all. It's almost less than 10 minutes. Are you proud of me? I can't hear you, but I hope you're saying yes because I've been trying to make these shorter lately. So appreciate you guys listening. Be aware of your thoughts. Be aware of those unhelpful thoughts, and know that you've got some strategies: calming down, counting, walking away, breathing, and then once you're maybe a little calmer, you can reframe the situation really to make it work for your advantage and figure out how you can learn from it. So thanks for listening today, guys. I hope to see you in person tomorrow. Have a great Tuesday.